I spend most of my time alone. How do I find like-minded friends? Babe, that's a really great question. And let me just say this. There is wisdom in our feelings of loneliness because we have always been the more vulnerable sex. And in ancient times, our survival actually depended on forming social bonds and maintaining close social relationships. Whereas now we've come to a society where it may seem and appear that we have more connection than ever before, because we're able to connect with people all over the world through social media. But we're actually more disconnected than ever before. And that's really kind of the downfall of social media. But those feelings of loneliness were meant to motivate you to go form social bonds. That way you would have a higher chance of surviving. So listen to that intuition and allow that to guide you. First, if you want to attract more like-minded people, own who you are. Own your value system. Stand firm in your truth. So don't allow others or the world to influence your value system if that's something that's very important to you. And don't let the social pressure get to you and cause you to make really bad decisions that just don't serve you, or get, sucked into a lifestyle that's ultimately bad for you and bad for your health and bad for your emotional integrity. And I understand that this can be really hard when you're in your teens and 20s because your brain is more malleable at that age. But here's the thing. The more that you know who you are and more confident in who you are, you'll be more easily able to attract those who also have similar values as you. In this time, you have to be a little bit more careful of who you allow into your life, just because maybe you're feeling desperate for friendships and maybe you're willing to just settle for any kind of friend group or lifestyle. But in the end, it's not going to serve you, and you're not even going to feel whole and complete. When I was in my early 20s, I grew up in a family Christian household. But once I started getting out into the work world, it was easy for me to get sucked into a certain kind of like party lifestyle, because that's the environment I had put myself in, and that's just the friends that I had accumulated through being in that environment. But it never really felt like I fit in or belonged in that group because I had a stronger value system. And no shame to them or whatever. Like, obviously, we had just grown up very differently. But I had realized that, wait, it was because I wasn't owning who I was. I wasn't owning where I had come from. I was actually pretty curious as to why I didn't desire to do some of the same things that they were doing. And again, it goes back to like how I was raised. But anyways, the point is that once I was living in my truth and able to own where I had come from and my value system on things, then I was able to kind of flow away from certain groups of friends and certain social settings and attract those who were more who more resonated with my lifestyle and with my value system. Does that make sense? So own who you are, and the conversations that you want to have with other people, start having those conversations with yourself, because I promise you, you will end up attracting those who are also on the same mind wavelength as you. Next, I will advise that I know that this can be very intimidating for a young lady. Actually, a woman of any age, this can be just intimidating for, because it's kind of a different energy when it's a man. But when you go out, like, don't be afraid to go out by yourself and sit in settings, restaurants, bars, events, these kinds of things by yourself. If you put yourself in social settings that more resonate with you, then there's also going to be people there who also share similar interests, and inevitably you will meet people. And also don't negate that your friends and family members, people that you already have strong social bonds with, they probably have friends of their own, and they can kind of connect you to their people, and then they share mutual friends, and you just kind of keep like jumping off of all of these different social connections and forming your own community. Like, actually, this is exactly what happened with me, because I was hanging around my parents a lot, and I started becoming friends with their friends, and then I kind of just ventured off and started hanging out with their friends without them, and then their friends would introduce me to their friends. So you see how it just kind of flows on and on through all the different social connections. Don't overthink too much about it. Personally, I had used my family as the foundation in order to meet other people. So if you have that opportunity, use it. And here's another bonus tip too, is that if you have use of Facebook, go on Facebook and join groups that are in your area of things that you're interested in, because there's a lot of people that join those groups who are also just like you, looking for friends and making connections, and they have similar interests. So join those groups and, get involved in those communities, and set up a meet and greet with someone, or go out on a date with someone. Those small moves will lead you to bigger social groups. And this doesn't mean that you'll always be entertained and you'll always have someone to hang around with, because the truth is that people have their own lives, and most of them have either kids, or they're married, or they work full time, and that's just the American reality. But if you can manage just a few times a week having social engagement, then your emotional state will overall improve. So I hope that helps you.